This is a French artillery system close to Ukraine's eastern front line, one of thousands of pieces of heavy weaponry supplied by Ukraine's NATO allies since the war began. A soldier shows us their ammunition stock. Just 12 shells left. More than 1 million shells have been pledged by Ukraine's backers in recent weeks, but they're not getting here fast enough. The Ukrainian military say the rate of fire is at least 6 to 1 in the Russian army's favor.
We are trying not to leave our position. Yes, the enemy is advancing, but even with this little amount of shells, we are trying to hold.
We head towards the besieged small town of Jazeera. Russian forces occupy the eastern outskirts. Russian fighter jets have been targeting Ukrainian forces and along the Ukrainian army supply routes, taking advantage of what Kiev has been saying for months. It's critically short of air defense.
We're on our way to a stabilization point just outside the village of Jazeera. The soldiers tell us that the biggest concern traveling along these very exposed roads is the so-called FPV, or first-person vision drones, that the Russians and the Ukrainians are using to such devastating, dangerous effect.
This video shows the precision of a Russian FPV kamikaze drone attack on an armored Ukrainian vehicle. Ukrainian military estimate there can be up to 100 various types of Russian and Ukrainian drones operating at any one time in a given 10-kilometer radius from the eastern front line. The so-called sugar cube used to detect drone sound frequency often can't identify whose is whose. An explosion close by. Vitaly is a medic at one of a number of so-called stabilization points just outside Jazeera, where injured soldiers get emergency treatment before evacuation across the exposed fields to a hospital in a safer area.
One of the biggest dangers is we could be hit by a KAB or artillery at any time. The house nearby is completely destroyed. We are anxious all the time.
Around 10 kilometers to the west are the eastern outskirts of Konstantinivka, the next town on the path of the Russian army's slow advance. Russian forces are increasingly targeting the city, which had a pre-war population of 67,000, but thousands of people remain. The words are clear on the destroyed railway station wall.
This shows us that the enemy wants to capture Konstantinivka in order to move forward. They want to scare the civilians, so they're destroying the town. We're doing all we can to stop them.
Ukraine will spend $5 billion producing its own weapons this year, including 1 million drones. A drop in the ocean for what analysts say is Kiev's most critical challenge since its failed counter-offensive last year. To hold ground against Russia's expected attempt at a concentrated summer advance. Stratford, Al Jazeera, near Jazeera, eastern Ukraine.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.